Boom, we're live.
All right. No,
Temidayo, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you doing?
How everything now?
Omo, we are all right. We are all right. We are pushing one step at a time. One step at a time.
Our first encounter was with class hour.
Yes, now.
You know, like
Yes.
life is very interesting.
Is
I was
it-
actually new into tech then, oh, very, very new. Like very new.
Me too. I'm
And I was able to
relatively new, even though I'm I was not that far.
no, you're much more advanced.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not that far. It's
2021.
2021. Yes, 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 yes.
I was like 3 months into tech then.
You are early now. You are early. You are early. Yeah.
So I was like 3 months. I was like 3 months into it then.
Mm-hmm.
You're much more advanced. Oh. That's our first encounter, and it spoke a lot to me because we've been able to stay together and connect
Yeah,
since that time,
yeah, yeah,
based on the on one single thing, the fact that this person is somebody that could get things done.
yeah.
If somebody asks me like, "Oh, do you have any developer, a web developer you can recommend?" I'll just mention your name straight up. It's not because I don't think I've met you physically. No,
Yeah,
it
we
is
not
not
met.
that. It's,
Even though even
yeah.
though
So
we were
it's,
staying in the same city. Even though we were staying in the same city.
yes,
Well,
and we've done a lot of things together,
yeah,
like a lot of things.
yeah, yeah.
So it goes back to the fact that when I was reading a book, I got to learn that people should hire for attitude and not skill.
Mm-hmm,
But I think what I had in the early days of my tech career is attitude,
mm-hmm,
the attitude to work. I just want to work and get things done.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things you saw in me that made you feel like,
Yeah,
okay, this is somebody I want to get to know more.
yeah.
And we have to have a relationship outside of the brand we used to work for then. I don't know if that's the same
Well,
for you.
mine is a bit, before that, right? Because when we met on class hour, I mean, I have this, this perspective of the kind of attitude you should have when when you are building a business, the kind of attitude the people, right, that should be building with you should have, right? And you add that energy. You understand? I like people that are, let's get it done. We do this and move on. You don't need to like pull the team down. If you are there, you are there. If you are not there, you are not there. You understand? So that was what I saw, and I was like, okay. And immediately after class hour, I started pick up. When we were just doing one or two, then I decided that, if I need serious push in this marketing thing, this is the person that can get things done, right? So we had that connection in terms of similarity in perspective in business, right? And we started doing things together in on pickup, and things moved very fast. And even at some point where you were like, okay, you had a lot of things going on and you had to leave pickup and come back. I totally understood it, because that was what I was expecting from the onset, right? You don't have to just do it because you have to be there. If you are there, you are doing it. If you are not doing it, you are not doing it. You don't need to sugarcoat or whine each other. It's business, right? It's either we are doing it or we are chilling somewhere else. You don't need to waste our time just doing startup because we have to do startup, right? And I don't know if we failed or succeeded, but in my book I would say we failed together, right?
We learned a lot. We
We
learned
learned a
a
lot,
lot,
right? We
man.
learned a lot. So, and from there we moved on to your own brand, free.com, right? We did that too, and the energy has always been
Yes.
there. And even before the whole startup thing, sometimes we call each other, we talk about business, talk about life and all that. So I think it's when you find people that move like you have to keep in touch and moving with them. You understand? So I
Have
and,
to
and,
keep
and and
them,
I think that it's
honestly.
the same energy that I believe um is behind your most of your recommendations, right? Because I'm sure you feel like, okay, this person is like my person, this person will not mess this up, because what I expect is what this person will do, right? So if you are doing it, we are doing it. If you are not doing it, we are
Mhm.
not doing it. So that has always been the principle from onset. And yeah, so that's what I would say about
It also,
us.
seriously, it's been awesome getting recommendations from you,
Yeah.
recommending you. And it says something to me that, look, if people are not recommending you,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're not doing something right.
Yeah.
So it's not about. I believe recommendation goes two ways. One, the person want to help you, yes,
Yeah.
but the person also want to increase their own reputation
Yeah.
in that other person's end.
Mm,
So, oh,
mm,
hello, I'm looking for somebody that could. There was a friend that called me. Hello, Biggie. We get a computer together. She was like, "Oh, I want to buy a car. Do you have a friend that sells car?"
mhm,
And that's it.
mhm,
It's my reputation that she wanted to
mhm,
bank
mhm,
on,
mhm. Before you can
and
recommend
the fact
someone,
that if I can put my
be very sure that this
so
person
if I
has
can put
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I can put my reputation on the line for that person, she will most likely just trust the person.
Yeah,
And that's how recommendation work, right?
exactly.
You are putting your own reputation on the line for the. So if people are not recommending you, it's something they are not ready to put their reputation on the
Mhm,
line for you.
exactly.
So now you have to start asking yourself, what am I doing wrong?
What are you
Maybe you
exactly?
are not good enough or something like
Mm-hmm,
that. I thought that I was listening to Naval one day.
mm-hmm,
You know Naval, right?
mm-hmm,
And he was saying Warren Buffett has built his reputation to a place that people trust him to make deals. People do deals
mm-hmm,
through Warren Buffett.
mm-hmm.
Oh, this startup wants to do something worth billions of dollars, and this person, maybe they could not trust each other. They will now do
Yeah,
it through Warren because
yeah,
both parties trust Warren. So reputation is something I've seen you build over time,
mm-hmm,
looking at how you've handled deals, looking at how you've handled everything around your startup and all
yeah,
of these
yeah,
things. You've been able to show that look, I'm somebody you could trust, I'm honest. If I say I'm going to give you 10% equity, I'm going to give you
yeah,
10%
hundred
equity.
percent, hundred
And
percent.
you talk about those ones.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about those ones later in the
Mhm.
course of our
But
discussion. But let's
but
talk
one
about.
thing I would like to say though in on this same recommendation topic, I think it's you mentioned something that maybe you are not good enough, right? And I think it's a bit beyond that, right? It's more about character, because even though you are not good enough, you still see someone that will recommend you for a junior role. You understand? But if you are acting as if you are the best in the industry, whereas you are not there yet, so that's a problem with your character or your own self-evaluation. You get. But if you are being honest with yourself and you know that okay, I'm a junior developer, then people will recommend you for junior developer jobs. You understand? So it won't be a question of either skill or anything like that. In that case, you understand, is putting yourself exactly where you should be, right? Then people see you in that light and they'll say, okay, this is this person's skill set. You understand? They can spell it easily. But some people, especially in our society, right here in Nigeria, where people, you hype yourself beyond what you can actually do, then you'll now be giving the person that recommended you a dick, and you just be stressing everybody. You understand? And it's just based on the fact that you couldn't even be yourself and prove exactly what you can do out there, right? So yeah.
It goes back to this whole fake it till you make it thing
Mm,
that people always
mm,
say,
mm,
which I don't agree with. People always be like, oh, you should fake it. And
mm-hmm.
one of the things I think helped me in my tech career is telling myself the truth.
Yeah, very important. Very important.
When you are not yeah, when you are not a team lead, when you are not a digital marketing lead,
Mm-hmm.
don't start calling yourself digital marketing lead. Even if
Exactly.
the startup that you are
Mm-hmm.
is calling you lead,
Yeah.
people have people have ruined their career
Mm-hmm.
by calling themselves CMO
Yeah.
on LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
because their startup is calling them CMO,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
which is which is crazy. Self evaluation is important. You need to be able to
Exactly.
evaluate yourself and tell yourself the honest truth.
Exactly.
When I was an SEO specialist, I was like, "Oh, I'm just SEO
Mm-hmm.
specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a marketing person."
And that's
And
the,
right now, I'm
that,
even
that,
leaving the
that's
open.
the exact thing that we try to limit where we were working on pickup. We said it couple a lot of times that we are not doing anything C-level here, right? We are just leading teams. Even myself, I'm not a
Yes,
CEO or anything like that. We are
CEO.
just different
Yes,
levels of team leads, right? We are working together. Anybody can lead the
yes.
next time. If I'm not here, someone else can do it. You understand? So it's important to be honest and move with that mindset so you don't overhype yourself. At the same time, you shouldn't undervalue yourself. So it's not about it's proper self evaluation, right? So yeah, that's how it.
One of the things I learned from working with you, we've worked on a lot of things,
Yeah,
like you said, work
yeah,
on
yeah.
class hour, pick up, start up here and
Mhm,
there. Anything I want to build. my life. 'Cause anything at all, it's definitely you that's going to be the developer.
Mm.
One of the things I learned from you is 0% of zero. 100% of zero is zero.
Yeah, it's zero.
70% of zero is zero.
Zero.
There's this mentality in Nigerians, they've watched, everybody have watched on Instagram reel,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be like, oh, whatever you want to do with anybody, you have to sign,
Mm-hmm.
there have to be agreements,
Mm-hmm.
this and this. And the reality is, I think that's one of the dumbest thing anybody can do.
Exactly.
If you and your friend are trying to build something
Mm-hmm.
and what you are trained for is some contract,
Mm-hmm.
it's lack of the point is that thing is going to be it's not going to be successful
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that shows a pure lack of trust.
Mm-hmm. And
And no matter the document,
yeah. Yeah, so I
there was a friend
I just
saying,
wanted to like say something very quick, right?
go
So
ahead.
you can continue. I saw a post on Agim Capital's Instagram, right? She said, venture capitalist now. She said, venture capitalists don't sign NDA. You cannot come and say your idea is very unique. That if you
Unique.
cannot share it with me unless I sign NDA. Like I just want to say, like in terms of agreement, you just have to keep that aside. You can have you know, verbal talks, even with your friends in terms of equity sharing. Just have verbal talks, right? The whole
Correct.
yeah the whole point is to build a successful startup, right? So when it gets to that river where you have to, put things in documents and all that, then you document it because you have to document it, right? But you don't put much um
It
emphasis on
can't
the
be
fact that
the ultimate thing. Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
People people are I was telling there was a day I was one of the developers I was working with me on Frida company
Mm,
that time.
yeah.
He was telling me that, well, I told them I'm going to give 10% equity to them if they
Mhm.
can build the whole thing. I don't have money. Let's. I was like, okay, are we sure that I'm going to give the 10% equity? I was like, you are not
If you are
sure.
not sure, you
I was
shouldn't be
like,
on the team
okay.
at the first place. What are you doing here?
I was telling him clearly. I said, you are not sure.
What do you mean?
Forget about it. You are not
Exactly.
sure, and you can't be sure. So I told him that point clear that if you don't trust me,
Mm-hmm.
don't work. Don't
Mm-hmm.
even if ask a lawyer to go prepare something and send it over to you and I signed and you
Mm-hmm.
sign.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to be dubious to you in the future, I will still do it.
Uh-uh.
That document is not going to stop me.
Mm-hmm. At all.
So if you don't believe that I'm going to give it to you,
Mhm.
just don't worry yourself. Go
The,
away.
the, the people that are
So
even
I've
shouting
come to
document, they don't have the power or the time or the financial capacity to even do the whole law or court case, right? So why
do the
lay
work that will
emphasis on
that document.
documents when you
That's
cannot even fight it at the end of the day? There's no point, right? So at the end of the day, we have to
yeah,
build it on trust. Because who wants to go to court and be fighting on one NDA or one thing like that?
and fighting.
It doesn't make sense.
Facebook, the whole thing about Facebook that people always reference when they talk about this documenting. I always laugh. Last, what did Mark did? He paid those guys off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day.
So let's say we built a system and we are successful,
Mm-hmm.
and you came with you, we signed NDA. Okay, last, we're gonna pay you off.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Mm-hmm.
With the business,
Exactly.
no matter what Mark paid those Facebook guys, it can't be what the actual value of Facebook right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what they
Of
pay.
course.
So I always tell guys, like, okay, one of the things I learned from you is that 70% of zero is still zero.
Mm-hmm.
We are building a startup. Let's make this thing valuable first.
Mm-hmm.
This piece of pie that we are trying to dissect and share
Mm-hmm.
is still it's not it. We cannot eat it. It's still
It's
nothing.
still nothing. It's still nothing. Total nothing.
How about we come together and cook and make this thing something that we can eat
Yeah.
so that everybody and the cake can get bigger and the pie can be bigger than what we are even looking at
Yeah.
if we actually build it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've observed that thing in the mentality among Africans that I don't think we are collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's our upbringing or something like that. We are just competitive and we
Mm-hmm.
think it's something good. No,
Even with each other.
if you tell a friend, yes, if you give a friend a business idea now, oh sorry, give a friend a business idea like you tell him a business idea,
Mm.
the the thing that friend is going to do is to think about how to go and start it,
Mm-hmm.
how to go and start his own.
Once they discover
He's not going to think about, oh,
this person can be big oh, this thing can worth 100 million, it can worth, they will be imagine, they will be helping you calculate your possible, outcome, and that will attract them so much they will be like, I can do it too, I can do it too.
yes, exactly. I can do it too. There's no, they wouldn't be like, okay, how far, my friend? Should I, what do you think I can bring? Should I bring money?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is my time? What do you think is my knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have the knowledge of drawing. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I can design. Oh. Can I just design the? But the next thing we always think is something that happened to me. So I have to consciously try to tell myself that this thing is bad.
Yeah.
That is not how life. There are a lot of areas that what we should be doing is collaboration
Yeah.
and not competition.
100.
I know you're a business aside from a development knowledge, you're a business strategist, pure one. I don't know what you want to talk about, say about that. Yes.
Yeah, so well, I I would say I'm a, should I say, Pan Africanist, right? I love solving problems pertaining to, this our continent, right? There's still, I see Africa like you know a fertile land that is not, cultivated yet. There are a lot of things that we can still do, even if we, probably relocate abroad, we still have to come back and build this thing, right? So, and staying here, I see a lot of problems almost every day, right? I see a lot of problems every day. I'm like, okay, we have to do something about this. We have to do something about that. It's what, inspired me to, start something around, what we did on pickup. Try to, solve the logistic crisis thing, even though, I mean, there are a lot of limitations at the end of the day, right? But even when when we stopped pick up and we had to, move on, the next thing I worked on was something very wild, right? And that one to actually had so many, let me say, manpower difficulties. I couldn't find enough, engineers to, work on it. It was electric vehicle, right? It's electric vehicle. We started building our own from scratch. Started building electric vehicle engine in with some footage.
Like crazy.
I just called them down.
Why do you want to be there?
I just told them that, okay, we have to do this, right? That's where the world is going now, and fuel is getting expensive and all that. And from a friend to a friend, from a friend to a friend, we met at Futa, about seven of them, designers, developers, engineers, everybody, right? And I didn't, we didn't discuss money throughout, right? I don't know. We didn't discuss like, okay, 10%, 20%. No, no, no.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just about how can we build this? How can we build this? We started designing, we started getting materials, we ordered magnets from, China, we coupled it. I mean, we did a lot. But at the end, we had started facing some limitations about, the engine to actually, work as powerful as we want. We went to meet lecturers, they couldn't resolve the issue some way, somehow. So our limitation for that was actually around, you know, skills, the I don't know, should I say, our current capacity, right? Maybe in that, in that area, right? But in future, I will definitely revisit it. I still have the engine somewhere, right? Then you understand. So we just have to keep trying to fix some of these issues. There are a lot of them, right? Yeah. So that's how
But
I do every day.
what do you think about? So, what do you think about this as a behavior something? So, in your development experience,
Mm,
who will you say is more important to a startup? A developer or a marketer?
mm. I think it depends on the phase where the startup is, right? If you are trying to build MVP, for example, you need probably 75 or 80% of developers in the team, right? At that point, marketers will just be doing their, basic, market analysis and all that. But when you are done with the MVP,
When,
then you need to switch it, right? you need a lot of, marketing and all that, then you can reduce the development capacity while you focus on that. So it's about phases. You get, so everything is important, right? Both the marketing team, the development team, they are both important. Even HR is important, but you cannot hire HR at the beginning of a startup. Like, why? Because you are bringing people that you know personally and you trust them. That's why you are bringing them on board.
Mm.
So you don't need anybody to come and be managing them, or you understand. So it's not necessary at that point. But at the point when you started scaling in terms of, you know staff and all that, then you need HR, right? So it's about phases, not, which one is more important. It's important in phases.
Yes, I understand that it's important in phases.
Mm-hmm.
How about the attitude of a business person?
Mm.
You said one of the things you look out for in people is attitude
Mm-hmm.
before you recommend them, you collaborate with them. Can you talk about those attitude?
I would say, there's this kind of, should I say, arrogance, right? In a common, in a layman perspective, right? In a very common perspective, you can. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah. So as I was saying, I said in terms of, um, business attitude, right? There's this, if you look at it without understanding why they have to be like that, there's this arrogance that they have,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you look at Elon Musk, he joined Twitter and he told them that the next few months is going to be a lot of work. There is nothing like remote job. Come in the office from tomorrow. He's not saying, like, he said from tomorrow you have to resume inside in the office, and if you cannot resume, just resign, right? So if you look at it from like a, a layman perspective, you say, that guy is rude, that guy is, you understand, but it's you have to be like that. You have to be like that. I was reading one email from Elon Musk to Twitter employees where he said, if you are if you are a manager here and I send you an email, right, there are three things you must do to that email. Either of the three things. He said that you correct me because I can be wrong, right? That's the first thing to do. Either you correct me, or, right, or you implement it, right, or you ask questions, right? If you are not doing any of these three, just resign. You understand? So there's no, there should not be soft spot for mediocrity, right? Everybody has to deliver, right? And for you to push everybody to deliver, you have to have that, that a little, let me say, level of arrogance, right? That you have to, like, be the get this done kind of person. But at the same time, you must be careful, so that you have to be human too. At the same,
You overdo it.
if there are people complaining about certain things, or personal things that is affecting them from your own, discipline, you have to, relate with them, understand them, and work with them, right? But there's this level of arrogance you have to be successful in this startup world, right?
Or do you think Elon is right with this whole remote work and office and on-site thing that he does not like remote at all?
Well, it's his own style of, he doesn't leave the office, right? He doesn't leave the factory. He's always there, right? So probably in his own perspective, the best way to, um ginger people, let me use that word, to keep people on their toes, you have to, see them face to face, right? That's his own perspective, and remote work will not help you do that, right? It's very easy to be lazy in remote system, right? And the ways you have to enforce that in remote system, it will be very, awkward. For example, there are jobs where you show that you are in office, right? I don't like that.
Yeah, you have to use
Yeah, there's
app
one
to
sector
track
where
you.
they have to track your mouse. That's rubbish. You understand? But in his perspective, I mean, which I totally agree with. In some cases, or if you are building something like that, you have to see people face to face. So that you can, get things done. For example, you made mention of something they wanted to build one server like that. They reached out to, I don't know what, I can't remember what the company is, and they said they will build it for, is it 8 months or 1 year or something like that. Loman did it. He did it in weeks, right? He said, when they will be, these guys will be wasting time. We can do this thing in house. And he gathered his people. Probably I had more people, and they got it done immediately. In just couple of weeks, maybe couple of months, compared to like 10 months or a year.
I think execution is one of his superpower.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of Elon's
Yeah.
superpower. The speed of execution.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, I've seen it in my life personally that you're going to make mistakes
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So the faster you implement
Mm-hmm.
things, the faster you do things, the faster you make the mistake and correct them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because if you take time to say, okay, we want to do a campaign on, I mean, the African grocery e-commerce
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
That's my niche
Yeah.
majorly. So let's say we take a delivery of yams. Yams came in to our warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to run a campaign on the yam. Now, yam is perishable. If you run past particular times, you're
Yeah.
going to start getting bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and you said, okay, hey, let's run a campaign on this and get people to start knowing that we have yam and come and buy the yam.
Mm-hmm.
If that campaign takes, for example, we start saying, okay, let's go to ClickUp, let's go to Jira, schedule task, this and this. Let's work on
Mm-hmm.
copywriting. The copywriter goes to work on the copy.
Yeah.
He brings it back.
Yeah.
We discuss on the copy.
Yeah.
Copy gets approved.
Yeah.
We want to start making the creative flyers and videos.
Mhm.
That has taken about 2 weeks already.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Now we now launch the ad.
Mm-hmm.
The ad is not performing well. Then we have to shut it down. We have to say, okay, maybe the creatives are not good. We have to go back. Yam is already getting bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Compared to saying, okay, we need the creative for this particular product tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before the close of business today, we need the copy to be ready, we need the videos to be
Mm-hmm.
ready, graphic designer,
Mm-hmm.
get on your seat, design the graphics
Immediately
and all of this.
execution back to
So
back.
I've
Yeah.
seen execution speed is,
It's very.
and I think that's what is going to make a difference in this AI generation.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, information in the olden days, lack of information is the problem, is the bottleneck.
Yeah.
You have to go to the library,
Mm-hmm.
pick up big books to study things, to find information.
Yeah.
Now, you can just type it on your computer and the information is right there.
Immediately. Immediately.
Now, everybody now access to information. What's going to differentiate people, so success and failure, is going to be speed of
Execution.
execution. That's what I think.
Execution. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I was speaking to a boss of mine, like those yesterday, and he said, about this AI thing, what do you know? He was trying to pick my brain about AI, and I told him that there are a lot of areas to check, and he was the one even telling me that he was sharing something about how he was speaking to someone about a startup, and the person was saying this feature is not here. I mean, can I have this feature? Can I have this feature? Can I have that feature? And he said yes to everything, even though they don't have it. Then he went, on a system. He used AI to rebuild the whole back end, the whole front end, just in one weekend, and he demoed the new product to the person on Tuesday. That's extremely like top level execution. You understand? And you can only achieve that when you are, up to date with the latest trend in AI and all that. So I shared my own side, of AI with him, and we collaborated like that. So about it, that's what I can say about execution, especially with AI, and also on the topic of the team and team executing as fast as possible. Um, Jeff Bezos said something, right? During the early years of Amazon, he said, when I mean any meeting you want to do, and you have more people than a box of pizza, then you shouldn't hold that meeting, right? That's a lot of people. You understand? So if you put a box of pizza down, you divide it into slices. That's the maximum people that should be in that
Yes.
meeting, right? It's not when you spend
In a meeting.
hours, with people just doing meetings up and down when you should be executing. And
You know the 80-20 principle, right?
yeah,
Yeah, you know the Pareto principle.
Mm,
Pareto principle is saying that says that 20% of people make 80% of your result for you.
yeah,
And I agree with that.
yeah.
Because if you bring 10 people into a meeting, it is still the 20% of people that will still contribute.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Many people in that meeting will still stay like this
mm-hmm,
and just watch.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I agree with the
Yeah,
fact
yeah,
that
yeah. I've also been in several startups.
less number of people
Yeah,
in meetings.
yeah. I've also been in several startups that, I mean, one of them that I can remember like clearly that failed only because of the fact that they have too many people in the team, right? And it's
Yeah,
too many.
it can be bad. Too many
You
people
have
can be
like, is it four front ends, four back ends? Like why? Why do you need four people to build front end? Why? Right? When one or two people will get the same thing. They spend time, sharing things. This one is pushing his code, that one is pushing his code. There's a lot of unnecessary, flows happening here and there, right? Things that just one or two people would have done as fast as possible, right? You understand? So a lot of people in meetings, a lot of people in the team itself, it's not a good approach. Yeah.
that goes to the fact I made a tweet one day that I prefer to have one person
Mhm.
in e-commerce
Mm.
in e-commerce.
Yeah.
So if I have an e-commerce store that does around $3 million,
Yeah.
I think one person should be handling your email
Mm-hmm.
and social media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One person should be handling your ads
Mm-hmm.
and your website,
Yeah.
the Shopify, right?
Yeah.
Just once it's done,
Exactly.
just be maintaining it.
Exactly.
Than for me to have one person for social, one person for email, one person for art, one person, because I prefer to have one person do three jobs like email,
Mm-hmm.
website, ads, and pay the person
Mm-hmm.
1 million naira
Exactly. Exactly.
than have three people and pay them 300.
Especially when the three areas are very similar, right? You can't have
And they are dependent on each other.
if they are if you have three people doing separate things in same area, then they have to do meetings multiple times just to sync ideas, right? Whereas if it assuming it's one person, the person will flow the idea on multiple platforms at once, right? So I strongly agree with what you said, right? There's no point getting unnecessary hands when you don't need them.
Is that same in web development industry?
Well, yeah, yes, definitely. That's what I said about the startup that I had too many people for front end, too many people for back end. Something just one person could have done.
Yeah,
If
you
if
said
if,
it.
if you paid that person the amount of money you are paying, even three out of the four, the person dedicate his time, and development doesn't take that much time, right? It doesn't take that much time, and
Really?
it doesn't take that much time.
Coding doesn't take that much time?
It doesn't take that, especially with the help of AI now. It doesn't take that much time. Trust me. The thing, people,
Will you say
the
code
time
is not
part,
hard?
it's no for me it's a passion thing for me, so it's not that hard for me, right? But for some people it's hard only because well, the reason why they are doing it is different from mine, you understand? But I don't think it takes that much time, and the only time consuming aspect is when you are brainstorming, or when you are stuck on one problem and you have to leave it and come back to it. But the actual time you spend programming, it's not that much. You understand? So you don't need to gather people where you now be wasting time in meetings doing all that, when just one or two people can just get on their laptop, fix this and push
Okay.
immediately. You understand?
Do you? Yeah, I understand you.
Yeah.
Understand you. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I want to ask you, what inspired you to code?
Huh?
Why what inspired you to code,
My
to start writing
Yeah,
codes?
yeah. My story.
Why write? It's not fun. This thing is not fun.
My
it's not
story is quite
sweet.
a weird one, right? I started from um art. I did art in school, police secondary school, Tagboli. You should
Art.
definitely know. Yeah, I did art in school. I was in
Why will somebody that did art in
I,
school start
in fact,
coding? It's science.
involving, performing arts and all those things. I did a lot of that. Even when I graduated secondary school, I was in line to study law. I did linguistics for a year, right? Then I had to switch. I had to switch because as I then, even when I was doing linguistics, I was telling my cousin, I can remember very well. I was telling him that, you see this programming thing. If I don't do it, my kids will do it, right? Because I was just, I was passionate about how the whole programming thing works, how people will just get on their system and, type,
Just wanted to figure it out. It looks
you get
fascinating to you, right?
immediate result, right? I was so, let me say, passionate about results, right? I'm not the person that will do something and wait for a long time just to get the result out of it, right? So, and programming, you solve the problem, you run it to get the result, you understand? So that's how I've always been. So then I decided to, then I told my pops that, okay, I need to, even when I wanted to travel out of the country, I was actually looking for law school, right, to study something in law because my dad was still, pushing for law, right. Then the agent that we went to see said, Good months, right? That's his name. He's very popular in Akure. He said, just ask this boy that what does he really want to do. Just ask him first. And immediately when I responded, I said me I want to do computer science. Nothing else. My dad was shocked and he said, because he's an educationist too, and he said, you that did arts class, what are you doing in computer
Mm-hmm.
science? The agent said it's abroad now, you can start.
What are you looking
Yeah,
for?
the agent said it's not Nigerian, and that it's abroad, you can start computer science, and computer science is not called engineering or anything like that. It's, the learning curve. I mean, when you want to get into computer science, you don't need to, have serious science background like that. Unlike engineering and all that, we don't do that much maths, even though we do some, right? So it's the one that changed that perspective from, on my dad's end. And my first semester when I got my results, I sent to my dad. I said, "You see, this is what I want to do. It's different from what I used to do. I mean, my old results, right? There was a big gap. You understand? And yeah, there are a lot of there are a lot of inner crazy stories. Like when
Well, what's your first encounter with coding that do you have? What's the first time you encounter programming?
I can't even remember. I was just I was just passionate about computers. I can't really even remember because even when I was studying linguistics, I had one notes like that. I was writing C. I was writing a bit of C, learning programming, watching, few big C's, you understand? And at some point also, there was this scholarship that we wrote the exam at Fuashayi, Fuashayi now. And it's about it's logical exam, right? So I was very good at logical questions. I got that scholarship. I got, the old thing they were offering then. I can't even remember the details, right? But I was so good in, logical things. So then when I saw the whole programming world, and I felt like, no, this is where I actually need to be. I I I got to my, computer science, where I studied computer science in Turkey. I got there, and I told the course, course, what's it called now? Um, I can't even remember. You know,
You don't call them
okay,
lecturer.
let me say course registration officer, because when you register your courses online, you have to meet the person, course advisor, the person, will check your courses. And I met the person and I said, me, I want to graduate in 3 years. So I graduated secondary school 2020, and 2013. What am I saying? Sorry, 2013, and I've wasted a lot of time between then and, bachelors. And I said, me, I want to graduate in 3 years. So, and she was like, since I've been working here for 20 something years, nobody has done that. And, they just say it as a dream and they don't achieve it and all that. But me, I had that strange determination, and I love computer science. So from 100 level, I was doing 400 level electives, writing programming, doing all that. Yeah. So my story is quite a crazy or weird one.
It's very interesting
Yeah.
because in my widest dream, an art student that become so so in love with programming. No, no, that's like it's like moving from here to Tokyo.
Yeah,
The difference is too big. It's too big.
exactly, exactly, exactly. But we thank God we are here.
Okay, let's talk about books. It's time to talk about books. I always talk
Yeah,
books.
you're a book man now. Yeah,
What are
I
those
don't
books?
read like me. I don't read like you. You're a book man.
Yeah, but you cook.
Yeah,
If there's somebody that if I want to discuss a business with, and I'm very sure the person is going to contribute.
mm,
It's not like I want to discuss some. Sometimes you talk to people because as you're talking to them, you are thinking
yeah,
and you are solving the problem on your head.
yeah,
You just need them to just listen to you. You don't need them to contribute.
mm-hmm,
But there are some times you talk to people because you need their contribution for real, for real.
yeah.
So you are somebody that I talked to when I needed business ideas, contribution, and all of these things. And it's crazy because I don't think that I don't think about it. Maybe you want to steal my idea. You're an embodiment of idea. You get it's not like
Like, okay.
so. What books? What books brought you this far? I've seen you do programs. I've seen you lead startups, and then
mm,
I've seen you try to execute ideas. What books do you think? I've seen you execute a lot of things perfectly.
mm-hmm,
I've seen your character.
mm-hmm.
You definitely should have read a lot of books that contributed to that for sure. Let's talk about them.
Well, like I said, my story is a weird one, right? I didn't learn my business knowledge or perspective from books, even though I have done you know online MBA courses. Just I bought one on Udemy. I learned that, but before then I was I love business. I've always loved the business world, and I think that came from me seeing my dad build a business from scratch, and the business failed. The business came back up again. So I learned hands on, right, how to run a business, right. There was a time he built a school, and it was one of like the biggest in the area as at then. Then he was in partnership with one of his, friends. They built it together around, that Ijoka area. And at some point, then I was growing up, but I was seeing a lot of that, and I was learning, right? So then the partnership broke up, and they had to start afresh separately. So I had to learn. Then I was probably in primary six or GS1, but me and my dad, we were very close, and I was, learning a lot from that. So then he used to advise us that if you want to do business, no too bad. See waiting I see for partnership. This is that. This is that. How that that relationship broke up, and he had to start from scratch. Then a lot of you know, bulk amount of the students there. And like I said, it was like a very big school. So bulk amount of the students, I mean, bulk of the students there, they left with my dad. And they left, I was like, okay, why did they live with this person and they did not live with this person? Right? Why are they following this person? Why are they not following this person? So there was this, trait of character that my dad, had because he's late now. He he has he's a good man, right. He's a good man. There are a lot of character training I had to learn from him too, right. So he built that school from scratch, and all over again. And he got very big too. He was using there's this building. It was Achievers building in Chijuade Ala Close. I don't know if you know that area. Now it's an hotel. They've changed it to one very big hotel now. So he was using the whole building. There was a lot of students, and at some point, I don't know. There are some personal reasons why that one failed too, and I learned firsthand, right. Then you have to start again from scratch. You understand? So I learned a lot out of outside books, even though I learned a lot from books too, and that's how my family is. My sister is also a very good business person. She travels here and there, doing business, right? So mine is, like I said, my story is a weird story.
Real time.
My role,
You're learning in real
I
time.
was learning firsthand. You understand? At some point, I was
Yeah.
at some point I was the miracle to miracle centers. I was seeing how they do all those miracle center thing. How they move people from year to year, all in the name of you know all you didn't
All of these things, that's his logistic on its own.
you
Oh.
understand. So my dad has a lot of friends, they're all other private schools, they do all these things. And I had to learn a lot from these people, from how they run things, how they move from year to year. I had to travel a lot. I was under my dad's friend then, on one of the his closest ally in this school business. So that one was into the whole doing this and that in terms of um exam and all that. So I was following him. Then you understand. So I was building a lot, even though it was not completely a normal thing to do in Nigeria.
Yeah, you might not be able to, you not be able to, you not be able to like define these things,
Mm-hmm.
these lessons. Then,
Yeah. Hello.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we have
yeah,
problems.
I hear you.
Yeah. So you were saying I would not be able
Yeah.
to,
So
might not be able to define. Yeah.
you might not be able to, yeah, you might not be able to define
Mm-hmm.
these things, like outrightly define them. That okay, this is logistics that I'm doing, moving people around. This is logistics.
Mm-hmm.
This particular thing, payment. This is that you might not be able to define it. Okay, allow a customer to pay instrumentally.
Mm-hmm.
So those
Exactly.
are,
Exactly.
very because
Exactly.
you might not be able to, yeah, you might not be able to name these strategies then. But you see, you're able to see firsthand how saying, okay, I got some 10,000,
Mm-hmm.
just pay 10K
Mm-hmm.
deposit.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that might be considering, oh,
There are
a
lots of
hundred
people
K
in this
might
school
be
set
too
for free.
much for me to.
They were in the school for almost for free. Like you have to draw a custom payment plan for some people. You understand? So I had to. I saw a lot. I saw a lot. I saw a lot. Managing people, some wayward students. You understand? So
Taxing the everyday life of a web developer.
yeah, yeah. I said, there are a lot of things you have to do within 24 hours, right, or within 12 hours. The you have to do some basic things very early. That when you get sink into the programming thing, you won't. I barely stand up, right? Sometimes I forget I even have to eat. Understand? So when you start the meetings, from the meetings you start programming from there. It's just programming meetings, programming meetings. So if you need to eat, you have to eat early, right? There's no, for me now, there's no break. I don't really get breaks. If I get a
These
break.
languages are they the same?
Yeah.
These languages that you write, are they the same?
No, yeah,
Or
yeah.
do you like pick a day, like, write one language,
No, no,
or you write different language on the same day?
my routine in a day, I will have, in a day, I will touch back end, front end, mobile within 12 hours. I have to touch everything, right? I have to. So they are not the same, but it's easier to learn if you know certain, basics. If you are strong in the foundation, right, you can pick any language and work with it as soon as yesterday, right? So they are not the same. It's just they are similar in fundamentals, right? But the way this one writes maybe A is different from the way this one writes A. That's all you need to learn. So if you know the fundamentals well, you can be a Java developer at the same time, be a JavaScript or front end developer somewhere. You understand? So you just have to be very tight in fundamentals, right? And that's what people that don't do, or that didn't do computer science, that don't have computer science background, will probably struggle with. But and it's very easy to skip the fundamentals and say, okay, let me just learn front end. Let me start, building something, right? So before you even touch anything programming, there is something back in school we call thinking like a programmer, right? There are algorithm questions you have to learn that has nothing to do with any language, right? So when you are strong with those fundamentals, you can apply same thing in across board, right? So yeah, at some level they are the same and they are different.
What's the duration I can use to learn it? If I want to learn it.
Mm, duration. From scratch, I would say 4 to 6 months. From scratch, 4 to 6 months. But depends, right?
Will that be good? Like I'll be very good.
Um,
It take years to be good.
very good is it? No, no, no. You can't be. That's not realistic. If anybody tells you that, forget it. They are whining you somehow, right? So, but some one thing you have to do is to get someone in your field, right, in your area of specialization, someone that can mentor you is extremely important, right? It's extremely important. That person will probably get you your first job. That person will probably get you your first job. Person will probably, keep on referring you in future. That person will, mentor you and make sure you are getting things right, right? So like they say, no man is an island. You cannot possibly succeed alone. It's impossible. No matter the tutorial you learn, people, and there's something we call tutorial hell in programming, when you are just stuck in tutorial and you feel like you don't know enough, right? And you just keep watching tutorials. You just keep watching tutorials when you should be building, or and assuming you have a mentor, the person will just tell you that, guy, you are ready enough for so stage. Just go into so stage, right? So thing. Start working on so thing. Build so project, right? But if you feel like, oh, I can learn it on my own now, I can learn it on my own, forget that thing. It's impossible, right? So
You need somebody
there are people that can get
that would
started in
teach
3 months with the help of someone, right? There are people that can get started in 3 months. There are people that can get started in even 2 months, right? Depends on how aggressive you are with learning, right? You have to learn aggressively. You understand? So yeah.
how long how long does it take you to develop a website? Let's say a website like Jumia.
Mm. Juma is a very complex.
What is the number of developer that will, yes, what is the number of, I know you can do something like
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
What's the number of developers that will
I'm
be
actually
needed
currently
and
working
what's the
for
duration?
Snap, which is basically like Jumia infrastructure, right? But and in Snap, we just have one backend, two front end. That's all, right? The backend engineer is in charge of infrastructure, and trust me, Snap has the traffic, a lot, thousands of users, right? Even though our name is not as big as Jumia, but trust me, there are a lot of people on the platform. A lot of products have been uploaded daily, right? So, and in that team, we just have one backend to front. In fact, the second front end just joined, right? Maybe not up to 2 years now. And I'm that second front end. I meant just one back end, one front end there. so so you can achieve a lot with less, right? So yeah, if to answer your question, I would say maybe two front, two back. But you can, if you have very good hands, you can do just one front end and one back end, right? Yeah. The team that the team
The back end will be about data structure, abi?
Yeah, the back end will be about the database, deploying the whole thing, getting it online and all that. The team that is currently building Willis, we are not up to four. And Willis is a complex system too, Willis University. So you don't need a lot
Abi,
at all.
this university this university project is tough because you have to build it like that life thing that you guys want to build there.
Very tough, very.
That live
Yeah,
that live thing.
yeah, but the what makes it easier is, there are APIs you can connect to that are not that expensive, that you just pay them few cash here and there, that they will handle the, extremely tough part, that you don't have to go through that route. Because if Willis is to go through that route building, you cannot invent the wheel, right? There are people that have labored for certain parts, right? That you just have to, connect with them and all that, and get things done as fast as.
Pay them a little amount and then
That's why the
make your
timeline
work faster.
that's why the timeline for release was like 3 to 4 months, as at then, right? So there are a lot of people that have labored for, these things, that you just, connect with them and all that, even though it's still a complex system, right? But if you are doing it from scratch, you will handle too much. You will handle transcoding, you have to, all those encoding thing, videos, and video, you cannot deliver everything heavily, right? You have to deliver it in chunks, if you're on mobile, you have to deliver.
Okay.
If you're on mobile, you have to deliver different type of, size, resolution and all those things. If you're on laptop, you have to deliver different. So you going through all that route, it will take years, right? So it's better align with people that have labored in these areas and just connect with them, so you don't invent something that is already existing.
You are saying that you said, I'm trying to remember, you said you need a mentor because that mentor is most likely going to be the first person that will get you your first job.
Yes, so
Do you, in your industry, you get jobs through recommendation more, abi,
yeah,
rather than applying?
yeah. The best set of jobs you can, or the best jobs you will probably get will be through recommendation. Absolutely. You know, you don't have to.
How do you position yourself for that? Is it by networking? Is it by LinkedIn or what? How does it work in that your place?
Well, I don't really think it's by LinkedIn, except you're a content creator, right? If you're a tech content creator, you can meet people online easily, right? And I know of someone that is currently a chief, or chief product manager or head of product in a very big company, one of the unicorns in Nigeria, and he got it without a job post on LinkedIn, right? He's a tech content creator, and he just reached out to them, and they just did interviews, position that was not officially available, right? So now he's the head of product in a unicorn, right? But that's rare or edge cases, right? But the most popular one is, that I know and that I've applied, is just networking with your current coworkers, be aligning with them. From there, they will connect you to someone else. It's just like a chain, right? And if that's the same thing you said about reputation. If your reputation is bad, you don't just take a job and do anyhow, right? Because these same people will say,
I mess up there.
now, for example, one of the companies I'm working with, the product manager there is head of product for another company that has raised a lot of money. Now they are sponsoring, they were part of the sponsors for Lagos Startup Week that they just concluded, right? So it's a very big, someone that is just product manager here instead of product somewhere else, right? Chief product officer, in fact.
Hmm.
So you can't just do mediocre job and expect, you know, people to just refer you. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, you get them doing, like, putting your best in what you are currently doing, and from there, people will, recommend you, right?
Get your hands really, really, really dirty. Like
Exactly,
get your hands dirty and work hard.
exactly, like they say.
Make sure you know it. Like
Mm-hmm.
this development in know am for
Yeah,
real.
exactly, exactly. What is what doing is what doing well. Sometimes it's just about character, right? I've starting when I was starting that, I was not like extremely good in that aspect, but I had, the person that I said called me yesterday, right? He was like showing me a lot of things. This, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that, right? But I had my own strength, right? I had my own strength. My own strength is, the strength I've always had is, designing architectures, designing database relationships and all those things. So I was very good in like core parts. So we were just connecting in that area. Sometimes we share ideas. Sometimes we share when we are building a database. We stay on call. We build it together. It doesn't act like he's a senior or something like that. It just relate together and we do it together. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you have to relate with these people. Yeah, you have to
It's been awesome. Oh.
you have to relate.
It's been awesome talking to you,
Yeah,
Temidayo.
yeah.
I've learned a lot.
We've
It's been awesome
talked
talking
about
to
a lot.
you.
We've talked about a lot.
About an hour now.
But we had a
So
lot of
I usually
breakage somewhere here and there.
yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I usually ask a this or that question
Okay. Okay.
at the end.
All right.
Are you
Yeah,
ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
Logistic or edutech?
Ah, Omo, I have sentiment for education. ah, Based on that sentiment, I would say edutech. But in terms of personal
Oh,
experience,
okay.
that's my sentiment to education. So I will always pick education first, right? But in terms of my personal experience in startup world, I would say logistics. So I don't know. Let's just say
It's rare that you can
education,
choose.
education, 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 education always.
Steve Jobs or Elon Musk.
Hmm. Elon, man. Elon fits me better. His way
Okay.
of life is my way of life. Yeah, let's continue. Yeah,
Will you rather will you prefer an Alienware laptop or Apple?
Apple, 100%. Apple, 100%.
Eba or Amala?
I don't eat eba, so amala. I don't like eba, except cold eba. Yeah, but yeah,
Okra or egusi?
I don't do draw soup too, so egusi. I eat egusi almost every time. Yeah.
Okay, egusi.
Mm.
Will you rather build a product specifically for men or specifically for women?
Mm. Mm. Men, because women will influence them to buy. Unless that one from you, I think. But let.
Moses. Yeah. Moses or Jobs
Hmm?
in the Bible.
Yeah.
Moses or Jobs
Mm.
in the Bible.
Mm. 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 Jobs. He has more to learn from. There are a lot to relate to there. A lot to relate to. Yeah.
Okay. US or UK?
I don't like US. UK. UK. UK 100.
Lastly, we are Paul, Apostle Paul or Enoch.
Apostle Paul or Enoch. Are you talking about like current time or
Bible.
okay?
No.
Apostle Paul or Enoch. I'll say Paul. Paul. Paul has more influence.
Paul.
Paul has more
Okay.
influence.
Oh, I was thinking earlier where computers are powerful now.
No, well, yes, depends on what you are using it for. Mommy programming, I need Mac. I can't survive on Windows. Windows will kill me. Windows will run me to the ground.
Really?
No, I mean, but if you are doing gaming or rendering stuff, if you are doing rendering all those 3D stuff, then you can do maybe Alienware because you can get more power out of it. But for productivity sake, Mac is every time anything.
It's too seamless, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Too seamless, very smooth.
Okay.
Extreme.
I know you go with Elon.
Yeah,
And I thought you would go with logistics. I didn't know you would choose edutech. I
you
thought
know,
you would
you know
choose
me. I
logistics.
like education, right? And the edutech I was thinking of, even when we started class hour, was I've always said it that I had my own kind of approach, but
Yeah.
you
Just like this Miva University
yeah,
now.
yeah, something like that, something like that. So,
Something
but
like that
but
Miva.
but we are here, we are here. But like I said, from
Abi.
start of perspective, I'll pick logistics. But my sentiment for education won't let me pick logistics generally.
Edukoya just packed up recently.
Really,
Edukoya. They said the market is not there.
really,
Edukoya packed up.
wow,
They want to homeschool now. Homeschooling cannot work in Nigeria. There's no network.
at all, it can't work. It can't work. But
Homeschooling. Homeschooling.
the,
It
the,
can't work in
the
Nigeria
thing
yet.
is, Nigerians don't really like. We like education too, right? But we have different perspectives from education. You have to make education exciting to Nigerians, right? Or you just make it about.
Education is like we see it like a meal ticket.
Mhm.
It's like a meal ticket
Exactly,
to us.
exactly.
It's not the quest for knowledge.
Uh-huh. It's just getting the certificate. Maybe the certificate will land me a job abroad. That's what we are, worried about. People even buy
Yeah.
certificates just without going through the education itself. They will just, there are universities that are, rumored that they said they sell certificates, right? I don't know why someone would just go and buy certificates without going through the school, right? But we see the rumors every day, right? So people do that just because they want to get what the certificate represents, not the logic and the knowledge behind it, right? And if you want to tackle edu,
Okay.
you have to make it exciting for Nigerians, right? You are pushing me to
Okay.
education,
Thank you so
and I
much.
can't I can't stop talking about education.
No,
There are
no,
a lot
no.
of things in my education.
We go still run now. We go still run startup. We go still run startup. We'll find money. So, what will you leave us with, Temidayo?
Yeah, so I was saying that towards the end you were taking me to education, and I have so many things in my head about education. I love education. I inherited education. Right. So so yeah, but at the end I would say yeah, you are also like a very good person, right? And personally I would just like to give you your flowers, right? There are a lot of things you say that I diligently follow, right? And one of them that you inspire me with is your passion for books and all that. So I've been getting some books recently. I haven't got one. Yeah, right. It's my the personal MBA, Master the Art of Business, right? I got this one recently, and I got one David Goggins book, right? So yeah, we are. Let me try the book thing very well now, even though I used to read
Awesome. It's gonna
it,
work.
right? So yeah, I would say you are doing fantastically well, right? There are a lot of things people will get to learn from you as I'm learning, right? And yeah, so it's been an awesome experience speaking with you on this, and hopefully we'll do more in future, right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bye.
yeah. Bye bye.
Okay.